I did laugh, though. You're worried about stealing my thunder. I was going to say that we're here primarily to worship our Creator and Redeemer, which is exactly what you said. But we were going to carve out time to honor our beloved Sherri Osborne. Woohoo! So after 14 years of service, she has decided and deserves to retire from the position of ministry coordinator. When she first started here, she was worship leader / ministry coordinator up until a few years ago. And so people would say to me, what is ministry coordinator? What do they do? And I giggled then and I giggle now because it's such a long list. And it's so many different roles and so many different hats that she wore. And just for giggles, I started to write down some of those. Yes, your mic is on, Matt. I started to write down some of the things, some of the roles that she has fulfilled over the year. Worship leader, administrator, mentor, prayer warrior, director of cantatas, baker of communion bread, we love that, philanthropist, accountant, supporter, encourager, shopper, builder of leaders, builder of followers, builder of teams, builder of helpers. And then verbs start invading me because she's a doer. Administrate, delegate, nominate, innovate, participate, negotiate, facilitate, coordinate, celebrate, organize, reorganize, repeat. Sanitize, resanitize, repeat. De-dramatize, recontextualize, systemize, strategize, sympathize, vocalize. She has fed us, she has led us in sickness and in health. And that may be in reference to Encounter God. Sorry. Sherri's life has embodied the scripture, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your mind. Her career and her work ethic reflect the Colossians passage. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as if working for the Lord and not for human masters. When I was a kid, my mother would try to instill in me the responsibility of housekeeping. She would say, when you leave a room, it should be better than when you enter it. Don't walk by that piece of trash, throw it away. Pick it up, it doesn't matter if it's yours or it's not. When you leave a room, it should be better than when you enter it. So literally, that's true of Sherri. You had to have seen her up here straightening wires, picking up tissues, empty water bottles. But I think it's also true of her career, that we as a church are better because she was here. She was in it. She invested in us. Simply put, she loves Jesus. She loves us. That was her job. She's a woman of great faith, a woman of influence. She has impacted so many lives in ways that you will never know. One of them is Don Stuck, because he's too chicken to stand up here and talk. I so badly wanted to do a Mr. Bill. Remember Mr. Bill, with Don's figure. When Don was playing guitar, he's back there. He has a red face, yes. I told you I was going to do this if you wouldn't come up here. He was so scared, and Sherri encouraged him. She says, no, you can play. We want you up there. He would hide behind a plant on a stool, and he would play. That would be the whole song. That would be all he would play. But now he wears loud, obnoxious shirts and is on the platform every single week, glorifying God with his gift, which is awesome. So we have a sampling of some of the people, just a small sampling that Sherri's career and life has impacted. So we're going to ask Anna to come on up. Hurry.
This is me. Okay.
Do you want me to hold it?
No, I just want to get it. Okay, good.
This is awkward.
That wasn't an awkward transition at all. That was Bonnie's note to us of, don't have any dead space, no dead space. I'm like, okay, well, I'll get up here. Well, that did not work out. So my name is Anna Lenort, and it is such a pleasure to be here with you today and see very familiar faces. And Sherri has had such a tremendous impact on my life and really has changed me forever. And I had fully anticipated on telling a really humorous, embarrassing story about Sherri, but I quickly realized that she had far more stories about me. So I decided that that probably was not the best idea. So I was like, well, I'll go back to the drawing board on this. And God revealed something truly remarkable to me that I really had never fully appreciated or had really realized, but that ever since the time that I was, dare I say, a bratty teenager, that Sherri has been pouring into my life. And there's this common thread of opportunity that she has given to me. So I had first met Sherri when the community cantatas were happening under Jeff Harmon days when he was here at T-Free. And from that time on, Sherri, you have given me opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to learn and to grow and to let God use you to form me. And it first started out where she invited me into her musical circle, and I was invited to be a part of the ladies' conference. And she has mentored me in every step of the way and allowed me to then take over in that position, and did that with grace and kindness, because not everybody would do that. Not everybody wants the next generation to take over and to succeed, but she did that lovingly, and I appreciate that tremendously. And it has just morphed from that into this beautiful friendship that we have, and most of it is based around music. Once my family and I were immersed here at T-Free, I was invited to be a part of the worship team, and she helped me and molded me into becoming a worship leader, and that has totally transformed my life, and it will forever. And from that, then I was invited to be a part of the Encounter God group, which, echoing that, talk about a weird thing. We were sharing a room. It was Sherri, Bonnie, and I walked in, and there was this huge box of Imodium on the bed. And I was like, what kind of retreat is this going to be? Holy cow. But there was an inside story behind that. But it was just kind of like, oh, what did I get myself into here? But even with that, like, she has encouraged me and given me these opportunities to then move into these leadership roles, and has used me to reach others. And that's a tremendous opportunity. And your impact and your presence in my life is tremendous. I knew I was didn't want to be the first emotional one, but your kindness and your gentleness and your willingness to help me and to lead and to mentor and to do all of that with a gracious heart and with great humor and laughter and lovingness, I will appreciate that always, and it truly has molded me into the person I am today, and I would not be the same without you. So thank you for everything that you have done for me, and thank you for being obedient to God and letting Him use you to mold me. Thank you.
Okay, Kim, why don't you make your way on down? Oh, we're going to do Rhonda. I'm sorry. When Kim comes, I want you to clap very, very loudly, because she's half sick over there, nervous about talking in front of you. So make sure that you welcome her large. Rhonda.
Okay. Oh, Sherri. Oh, Sherri. I came here 13 years ago, a very broken music pastor, chewed up, spit out, told my talent was not a spiritual gift. Music doesn't belong in the church. And Sherri just started some gentle conversations with me. And I had come here thinking, I'm not going to get involved in anything for at least a year or two. It was 6 months. And I started playing on the worship team, and she asked me to play. Now, anyone that's a musician, particularly singers who play instruments, will understand this. I identified as a vocalist, even though God moved heaven and earth to give me piano skills. So when she said, would you play the piano? I was like, yeah, but I sing. And she's like, yeah, but God needs you to play right now. And I was like, Oh, shoot. But from that, over 13 years, at the age of 40, she taught me to read chord charts. And she made all of us, remember that year, Sherri? Everybody in worship team, who remembers when Sherri said, no more music? Chord charts only. Sherri's pursuit of perfection got us to learning to read the way we should be as a team, and worship flowed easiest with chord charts. Sherri's taught me a lot. She's given me a lot of opportunities, just as Anna did. I'm floundering because, honestly, Bonnie and Anna have both said half the things I was going to say already. So I'm sorry for that. But Sherri not only was instrumental, pardon the pun, in growing me as a musician and embracing a gift God gave me many years ago with piano and that amazing keyboard. That was fun, huh? Sherri actually is more precious to me as my prayer warrior partner. And some of you may or may not be aware that for, 7 years, Sherri and I got up at, 5 a.m. a lot of days during the week just to talk on the phone, to share our cares, and to pray together. And we did a lot of growing, laughing, loving, learning. And that was the time, during that prayer time, when Sherri said, God's calling me to something a little bigger than just worship leader. It's a worship pastor. And she started morphing and moving into, as Anna said, picking up those of us who are just like broken pieces of glass on this worship team, because we're all just broken people, and saying, I see in you leadership ability, and I'm going to give you an opportunity. And that's being a worship pastor, not a worship leader. Anyone can get up here and sing loud and proud and beautiful, but not everybody can humble themselves and say to someone else, I want you to come up here, and I want you to glorify God with your voice. And not everyone will understand that this is not a show, it's a worship service for the Lord. Sherri has embodied that beautifully. She has enabled and been a worship pastor to many, many people. And not every church will say that they've turned out, 5 worship leaders in less than 5 years, trained, fully understanding how the Holy Spirit works. Well, fully understanding how we are to incorporate that. She's a beautiful, beautiful person. Sherri, thank you so, so much. You are blessed, and we are blessed to know you. Kim, let's hear it for Kim. Kim. One of Sherri's oldest friends, Did I mention that Kim's one of Sherri's oldest friends? Old Kim's going to speak now.
Unlike these guys, I have notes because I can't remember anything. I'm old. Yes. This is hard. Sherri and I have managed to be friends for 50 years, pretty close, since we were 5 years old. I don't know who is harder for, you or me. So we grew up in a really small town, Grand Valley. It's huge. Lots happening there. Not really. There was nothing to do. So I spent a lot of time riding my bike up to Sherri's, walking up to Sherri's, and we used to play something, and I don't know if anybody remembers, unless you're as old as we are. We used to play the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. So I can't believe, I don't know what her mom would think. We were out there in the yard. Back then, that's when they were bionic, so they were supposed to go really fast, I guess, through, everywhere they went. But on the show, they made them looking like they were going really slow. So Sherri and I would go through the yard, just running like this. So, yeah, we were a little weird. We went to school together from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. We took a secretarial class together. We went to youth group together. We shared a boyfriend, different times. We liked the same boy. She got him. Yep. But when we were 16 years old, there was a group called the Messengers that came to our church. And from what I remember, that's when we both gave our lives to God. And ever since then, Sherri has been steady all the way through. And then there was me. It was a lot of ups and downs for me. And Sherri always encouraged me through the whole thing. She was always there, always pushing me. And that's the kind of friend that you need in your life when you're going through all those valleys, because I went through a lot of them. So she was always there. I've always been negative towards myself, never had much confidence, as you can see. And she was the one that encouraged me to start singing. This getting up in front of people is really, really hard for me. So she just kept pushing me and pushing me. And before we had the worship team here, and I was going to another church at the time, she was the one that pushed me to come here and to do solos and get up in front of people, and it was hard. And then eventually onto the worship team. We did cantatas, and I did small solos and things like that. She was always pushing me out of my comfort zone. And she's doing it today without even trying. So, and then a few years back, she was also one of the people that encouraged me to start working with the youth. I wanted nothing to do with it, because it was just, I don't like to go where there's people that I don't know. I remember the first day I went there, it was like I parked clear up here at the driveway and walked all the way down. I don't like it. So, but she's the one that bugged me and kept me going. And quite frankly, it was probably the best decision that I ever made. I love working with the youth, and because I didn't want other girls to grow up like me, not having confidence, not liking being in front of people like this, and just being able to accomplish anything you want to do. And it was the best decision, and I probably wouldn't have done it if Sherri didn't push me to do it. So, and another thing that I remember when we were 16 or 17, going to get one of her boyfriends. She always had the boyfriends. But anyways, we were driving in, up near Pittsfield, I think it was, and I was driving, and right there at the intersection, we were coming along, and this Winnebago came right out in front of us. And I remember going right there. I saw it. There was no way we were going to go around it. It was right there. I just closed my eyes and thought, okay, we're done. That's it. And we think it's a miracle because Sherri remembers us actually going through that Winnebago. She said she could see what was inside of the Winnebago. And I didn't see it because I had my eyes closed. But I know that we got through the other side because here we are. So sometimes you wonder why those things happen, the miracles happen. And I see why it happened, because I've seen what Sherri's done throughout my whole life. She's been a major influence. I wouldn't know what to do without her. And I'm just glad that we're still friends, and that I hope that we can make it for at least another 30 years if you can handle me that long. So. And the nursing home together, yes, we're going to finish it off right. So, but I love you, Sherri. That's all I have.
I think she did amazing, yes? I never heard the Winnebago story. I've never heard that story. That's amazing. That's awesome. Okay, so Abby last wanted to have a voice, but she couldn't be here. So I am going to read a note to you from Abigail. I wish I could do imitations because she has such a lively personality. First of all, I want to thank you for putting up with me for so many years! Exclamation point. I also want to thank you for all that you have done to help me grow as a person. You gave me the courage to finally open my Cricut. You know what a Cricut is, right? Guys, it's not a bug, okay? It's a crafting thing. After being in a box for about 6 months, and you were the one who taught me how to play my audition song for Mercyhurst on the guitar. I'll always be grateful for that. You have welcomed me into your home on so many occasions, letting me talk or just relax, and I have always left a better person. I never realized how hard it could be putting all that a person has done for you into words until now. You have been a spiritual mother to me, I always know I can count on you and that your advice is solid. I am so beyond blessed that God put you in my life, and I have a feeling that my mom is also very grateful for this as well. But seriously, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for you. I look forward to many more crafting musical adventures with you. Love you and appreciate you so much more than these words can convey. Abigail. It's sweet. I was all worried about silences. Oh, we get to hear from Lou McGill. So here's a little bit of trivia. We know Sherri Osborne loves hymns. Which of these three does she love the least? How great thou art. A mighty fortress is our God. Be thou my vision. Yes. Pastor Tim got that one. Here you go, darling.
Well, all these people are, talking about how Sherri encouraged them with worship and asked them to sing on the worship team. And Sherri, you've never done that. Obviously, Sherri has heard me sing. So I was trying to think, everybody's talking about all these wonderful experiences with Sherri, and I guess you keep me around for comic relief. But the one thing that changed my life and really cemented Sherri and my friendship was several years ago. I don't even remember how many years, but Sherri asked me to attend a prayer summit up in Michigan with her. And so I thought, yeah, that sounds fun, like a road trip. And oh boy, what a road trip. But we had more laughs and more just good talks, and it was really enjoyable. But I saw Sherri's heart for prayer. And then after that, Sherri and I started getting together to pray, like Rhonda had mentioned. But I just want to tell you folks how blessed T-Free is to have Sherri pray for you guys, because she does. And what an honor it is to be sitting beside someone, hearing them pray for others. It is humbling, and when you see somebody's heart, it is incredible. And Sherri, I have seen your heart. And I love you.
Seems to be a common theme. Okay, next, I have a really bad, silly limerick to read, because that's just the kind of girl I am. It's titled Sherri O. There once was a gal called Sherri O who had a hard time saying no, no, no. Capable, smart, and meticulous, persistent, talented, and ambitious, you could see why she was always on the go, go, go. Sherri wore many hats at T-Free. She assumed her work oh so cheerfully. When the pastor said, let's have 2 services, some might expect some nervousness, but Sherri cried out, why not have 3? Lest you think, she didn't really, but she would. Lest you think Sherri's some tiresome workhorse, you can take it from this reliable source. Her laugh is hearty and contagious, spying the fun in the sweet and outrageous. The joy of the Lord defines her, of course. So friends, it's quite easy to see, I think, Sherri's, the bee's knees, praying God's richest blessing on her and on Todd. And since I know her retirement is not from God, this is not a goodbye, just a genuine thanks. We all agree. Amen? So we do know she's not leaving the church, right? We got to be really careful here. The only difference is going to be she's not going to show up to work. That's the only difference. She'll still be here with us. Okay, so do we have that video up, John? We have some videos for Sherri.
Gathered together to ask the Lord's blessing. That's an appropriate hymn for today. Hi, Sherri and all my friends at T-Free. It's Jeff Harmon, and cameraman Sherri.
Woman.
Camerawoman Sherri. Just here to wish you a huge congratulations on reaching retirement. This is amazing. I was thinking here while sitting at the piano of our first time singing together. I think it was in Betty Danielson's living room, and we started working on a duet and realized we sounded pretty good. And I think that started over 20 years of singing together. But the cool thing is, as I think back, how many years you had influence on lives and how many years that people may have made decisions for Christ because of what you did. Thinking of people in Youngsville and Grand Valley and Pleasantville and Titusville, all touched by your giftings and your talents. Congratulations, Sherri. This is a big deal. And someday when we're in heaven, we'll get to hear the stories of what took place because of the music that you did. Again, congratulations, wishing you the best. I know you're seeking the Lord's direction in the future, and I know that He'll be with you. Have a wonderful day and enjoy this day. Congratulations.
Hey Sherri, I'm sorry I couldn't be there today, but I did write something that I want to share with you in the congregation. Apologies for reading, but you know me. If it weren't for God placing Sherri in my path of life, I don't know how I would have gotten to where I am today. When we met, it really was one of those God moments. I was broken, confused, and searching for direction. She scooped me up quite literally and showed me love, truth, and God's promises He had for me. She taught me to look to Him when struggling and reminded me that her line was also open, as well as her home. She took me in like one of her own. She provided to me exactly what God knew I needed. She also introduced me to my husband, and she encouraged me to buy a djembe and play on the worship team. Until her push, it only seemed like a dream. The things of my life: a husband, a family, God's forgiveness, His promises, healing, all of those things in my life start with Sherri. And I know that's God. I know it's God. But He used her. And if it weren't for her, I would not be where I am today. I'm honored to call Sherri my friend, and I consider her my family. I love you, Sherri, and congratulations on this next chapter of your life.
Hey Sherri, I just wanted to say hey. Thank you so much for being my friend and such a great mentor to me over the years here at T-Free. Your door has always been open to me, and I've come in many a times to your office and sat down, shut the door, and just poured out my heart to you. And you've always given me such wise advice and brought conversations back to Jesus and how that should affect how I make choices and live my life. You've been such a great example of what a Christian woman looks like in leadership. I'm just excited for all the things that God's going to do for you in the future in your next journey into retirement. Love you so much.
Okay, Debbie, why don't you make your way down? Okay, one more trivia thing. Sherri Osborne loves all of God's creation, but which of these three does she not love? Great Danes, dolphins, or spiders? It was an easy one.
Sure. Sherri, would you come up, please? It's okay. So, well, Sherri, you've heard from a number of people that you're very close to and whose lives you have really blessed. But in this basket here are the other people whose lives you have blessed as well. Those that are unspoken but now are written. And they want to give you praise and thanksgiving for what you've meant in their lives. And so as you sit down today or in the next few days or months, you can always look back on these and read them again and see how God has used you to bless others' lives. So we thank you, Sherri, for who you are And thank you for being obedient and allowing God to use you every day.
Thank you. Okay, John, can we bring up the picture? So that is what? What kind of plant? Sherri, what kind of plant is it? A hibiscus, yes. So she's a little bit too fragile to come see you right now, but she will be here when things thaw a little bit to help beautify your barn and your farm and Grand Valley, and while you enjoy your leisure time. So now it's my honor to call up Sherri's family. That's you too, Todd. You and the boys are family. He's sitting there like, what?
I was appointed spokesperson, so I knew to expect that. Oh. I gotta say, it's pretty phenomenal to hear all these stories of how my mom has touched so many lives. We are so proud of her. I told myself I wasn't gonna cry. But no, really. She has, shared with me too all of these people that she has gotten to know and poured into, and it's not always a fun experience, and it's not easy. But she has loved each one, and she cares about all of you more than you can ever know. I know that, and so I just want to speak directly to Mom and express how proud we are of you. We wanted to say that we're really proud of you, and we remember as kids, Mitch included, I'm sure, listening to all the worship music and the choir music, practicing all to and from church everywhere we went. So music, like that passion for music was always a part of her, and it's trickled down. To me, at least, I've just, I sing on the worship team, and I, at our church, and have pursued music in certain ways that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for my mom. But I remember listening to all that music, and as Morgan and I were talking, we realized that Stephen Curtis Chapman and Point of Grace are extended family. We know them well. And but such was her passion for music and worship, and it's been a blessing to see the transition from just being a part of music in the choir at church to growing to be this leader and doing what she's done for the past 14 years. I know that you took this job. When you took this job, you felt like you were trying to fill some pretty big shoes. When Jeff left, I know that she felt like, how can I live up to this legacy? And but she's done a fantastic job and poured into people just as much as Jeff has. And it was one of those step out of your comfort zone moments, and you rose to the occasion, and you did a great job, as you can tell from all the people that have spoken, that she made a difference, and she is making a difference, and not only in your lives, but in our lives. We are so grateful to have her as a mother and to aspire to be what she's been for people and will continue to be for people. That's an example that we've had that not everybody has. So we want to thank you for that, Mama. Let me see, where was I? So we're proud of you for following what God put in your heart, even though you felt uncomfortable and somewhat inadequate to do what you were called to do. But you worked hard and took on many roles, like they were saying, worship leader, administrator, ministry coordinator, counselor, Christmas decorator of all things, women's conference director, and so much more. Where help was needed, she did, and she always does do what it takes. And I remember many early mornings, she coming up here to get things started, and many late nights, just doing what needed to be done here without complaint. And some of those things, I think, need recognizing, because it takes a lot to run a church and to
to make these moments happen. And along with the rest of the staff and volunteers, I know she's put a lot of work, sweat, blood, and love into everything that she's done here. We saw your work bring you a lot of joy. It also saw you choose joy in moments that were challenging. That's a great example for us. You've made so many friends over the years who have become like family and have been there through thick and thin, as you can tell. So now that you get to enter a new chapter, retirement, yay! We know that you'll enjoy the rest and ability to pursue other hobbies and travel to see family more often. So we look forward to seeing how God is going to use you in the future and use you in different ways now. So since you've always been there for us, we are glad to be here to celebrate you and your service to the church. We love you, Mom.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if any of you know what it's like to be married to someone who is in the ministry, but it comes with some sacrifice. And so Todd has done that so beautifully. I have spent his anniversary with Sherri, just saying, more than 1 year. Next, we are so excited to hear from the staff who are in the trenches with Sherri every day. Well, I guess you're done now, right? Friday was the last day? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So do you all want to come up, or do you want to come up?
Yeah, I figure they can just come up while I'm talking, since I know I'm going to talk, and I don't know who else of them is going to talk.
All right.
And actually, I know it was Sherri's last day, but she spent the last 2 weeks on sick leave, so I wasn't sure if we could figure out how to extend this a little bit. They do that places, right? You can't just back off your last 2 weeks. It seems ridiculous. All right, so 14 years ago, Sherri and I were hired at the same time, and actually so was Barb Van Epps, who's in the back. Hi, Barb. So we were all hired at the same time, and Sherri was the person that everyone wanted for the job, and I was the person that they could afford to hire after they hired Sherri. So, once they paid Sherri, they just didn't have anything left. I guess you'll do. Go talk to the teens. But Sherri's a great encourager. Actually, the first time I ever preached was because of Sherri. We were at a ministerium meeting. The boss man wasn't there. But Sherri and I were there, and there's all these important pastors from the community sitting around a table, and they're talking about preaching at the Lenten service. And I should have known something when the paper kept going around and people weren't signing up. But Sherri's like, "You should sign up." I'm like, "No, I shouldn't." And so it goes around again, and she's like, "No, seriously, you should sign up." And I said, "If it goes around one more time, I'll sign up." And it did, and there's 18 spots left or something ridiculous. So I signed up, and that was through Sherri's encouragement. That was just Sherri's encouragement that I got to preach. And I was a part of Sherri's small group before that, so our friendship has stood for a while. But I cannot express to you how blessed we are as a church to have Sherri with us and on staff. I can't tell you the many things that go unnoticed that Sherri takes care of. I watched a video one time about this guy who thought he had a magic table in his house because he would go to bed and he would just leave garbage all over the table. And he'd wake up the next morning, he'd be like, "The table's magic. It's all cleaned up now." Now, it was his wife, right, who was cleaning up the table. But I feel like that's kind of like it is with Sherri with us. There's things like, "Oh, that just got done by magic." And Sherri's over in the corner going, "It wasn't magic. It was all night is what it was." But we're like, "Oh, cool, magic, yay." But actually it was just Sherri. Sherri's hard work was kind of like magic to us, the way she was just able to get things done. So we'll miss seeing you here every day, Sherri. But I'm glad you're still our friend, and I'm glad you're still a partner in ministry. The terms will just be a little bit different now, at least not during these last 2 weeks when you have to still come. All right, who am I handing it off to? There's a microphone there.
So I'm Katie, but I already did mine, so I'm doing Tanya's. She's sorry she can't be here. She said, "Sherri, thank you for welcoming the Presby as part of the staff when she started 3 years ago. Thank you for showing her the face, the hands, the feet of Christ on a regular basis. You are the most genuine Christian woman that I have ever known. You have taught me through the actions what it means to love Jesus, love how to show mercy and grace. It is much peace and happiness in the chapters of your life. I look forward to being your friendship continuing beyond the office. Tanya.
Well, it's looking high. The X is really right over here. Okay. Well, I hadn't really been here very long at all before Sherri took her first step of retirement away from the worship leader position, and so you were all new to me. This was all new to me. I kind of grown up on the other half of the county, so Titusville is new to me. And so Sherri was new to me, and this worship team. I mean, so I really still didn't have a feeling of how everything worked here and all philosophies and the things that drive things underneath. And so when she retired from that position and I was considering stepping into it, Sherri and I met, and so as far as I'm concerned, we're kindred spirits, sister. And all fears were laid to rest. And thank you for making it such an easy transition to step into this role behind you. So thank you. Love you. Thank you for being my friend.
All righty. Have we convinced you to change your mind yet? Okay. Well, so I think that this is what Judgment Day is going to look like. I think that this is what it's going to be. I think that we're all going to be clamoring to tell stories about the people that got us to the point in our lives where we were. And Jesus is going to say, no, let me tell it. I want to tell this one because I was there and I saw all the things that you missed, and all of the things that this person did for you. I saw them all, and I count them as service unto me. But Jesus is in heaven preparing a place for us, so you get us. So I'm just going to have to tell it poorly. But yeah, so Sherri, you're one of the most remarkable people I know. I guess there's no question about how much she does. Anybody who has had any work in any ministry that we have here has dealt with Sherri O on some significant level, because she's got her hands in every pot in our church. Like she's like she does so much. So I guess what's most remarkable to me is that you've always had time for me personally. You've always had time and energy for me personally. And as much as you do, that's a remarkable thing. So I think I can say with some confidence that there aren't more than 5 people in this building right now who have had a more significant or consistent influence on my life than you. And both my parents and my grandma are here, so that takes up like half of those. You've been really important to me.
Okay. We've been together since you started, and actually even before when you were filling in for yourself. But I was just thinking of some of the things that we shared. We were taught when we were little, it's good to share with your sister. And we are sisters in Christ. And so even though we mostly got to know each other through work, the things that came to mind, even though they might have come about because of work, they really had nothing to do with work. And just some of the things
that happened around the office, like we share our loathing of spiders, and Matt had to come to the rescue more than once for us. We would share chocolate when the new flavors would come in. It's like, ooh, let's try this one, because we both love chocolate. As staff, I mean, we shared wrapping parties. And I know some of these won't make sense to some of you, but yeah, we would have gifts for the daycare families, and we would wrap them, but we wouldn't let Matt wrap them because he was like, yeah, he was bad at it. So like, put the label on, that's it, but you're good. But yeah, we did that. We shared those last minute rushes for Halloween costumes for the daycare parade for so many years. I'm like, oh no, what are we gonna do? We shared office space when we had our flood, when the water pipes broke and we couldn't use our offices, and we set up temporary offices. And we shared pews many years at Lenten services and lunches afterward. We shared screaming in the sanctuary. And and when nobody's here, that was in the days before daycare, when no one's here, the echo is just really good. You can just, Matt taught us that. And hiding under pews and behind doors. So you can ask her for the backstories on some of that. And just the things that we shared with the rest of the staff. We shared Christmas parties. We shared so many games of apples to apples, finding out who was most competitive. And and who almost passed out from laughing. And we shared a lot of staff outings, crazy things that it turned out, like when we needed some new office chairs, and we went to Erie as a staff and tried out office chairs. I think we had some chair races too. Like, you got to really try them out. We shared a lot of birthday lunches and other celebrations, like down at McKinney Commons. And other places. Remember that one place that was there for a short while when we went there for lunch and they brought us free samples of wine, and we were like, what are we supposed to do with this? Putt-putt. You were away. I don't know. And putt-putt, golf, those staff outings, and ice cream, especially when Sharon was there, ice cream. The time that someone in the congregation blessed us all with gift cards to Olive Garden, and so we decided, let's do that as a staff. We all had our spouses and had dinner, and then went to see a movie. We voted on which movie to see. Pompeii, the winning vote. I mean, it was great. Everything was destroyed and sad, but it's a great memory. And then we just did other crazy things. Like, we would invent, like we had a cardiac rehab celebration party. We had a lot of last minute parties we threw together. There was one year there was a Boss's Day party because someone said, "Hey, did you know it's Boss's Day?" And you said, my wife said she had to get something for her boss because it's Boss's Day. And we were like, oh no, we totally missed Boss's Day. So when he went to lunch, we just wrapped up everything we could find in the office. He got a new used stapler. And when he came back from lunch, he said, oh, it's not this week. But these were just some things that came to my mind. I mean, we've shared things since before Facebook was popular. Remember MySpace? And
in addition to all the mushy stuff that everyone else said, because that's true for me too. But you have brought a lot of joy and laughter to my time working here, and I've appreciated being a sister in Christ with you, and I look forward to sharing more, hearing this next chapter in your life and sharing those things. Thanks, Sherri.
All right. So I wrote down notes because notes come from the heart too. I wasn't sure what to make of this. As Bonnie said, it's not a farewell because Sherri's not moving away. She's not leaving town or the church. And it's not a eulogy because she's not dying. And it's not actually even a tribute because we don't have a plaque or an award or a trophy or anything like that for you. But what this mostly is it's a thank you. And so let me thank you for some things. When the position of Ministry Coordinator, Worship Leader was first vacated, there was a sentiment among some people in our congregation that now the church was going to fall apart. So, Sherri, first of all, thanks for not letting the church fall apart. When we knew that Jeff was leaving, Sherri was asked to consider stepping into the position, and she initially declined the job. She'd actually done that once before, took over for Jeff when Jeff left Pleasantville, and so maybe she didn't want to do that again. So we interviewed people, and we had people come in and lead worship from other churches and even from other conferences. And there was this one particular person who interviewed for the position, and they led worship one Sunday morning. And I think that mostly the manner in which this person led worship rubbed most of us the wrong way. And he interviewed very badly. Like, he said things in the interview that, like, red flag, we're not even thinking about this. But Sherri didn't know that. And I think she read the congregation wrong, or she read me wrong, and she didn't want to see this particular person take the job. And so she came back into my office and asked me if she could change her mind. So, Sherri, thank you for changing your mind. Sherri always strove to be better. She went to coaching networks. She went to conferences. At one point, she asked if she could have a day, not off, but a day of work that she was like a development day, where she would work on her skills. Sherri just followed this example that was given to her by someone who said, you need to play the guitar. And so Sherri took the guitar and learned how to play in such a way that she could sing and lead. So Sherri, thank you for always improving and bettering yourself. And so as she got better, we got better. I think you've heard that a few times already. The worship team got better. Sherri took what was a handful of people that were a part of our worship team, and under her leadership, our worship team grew to 40-plus people with multiple drummers, multiple vocalists, keyboardists, guitarists, interchangeable parts, if we can say it that way. And she got the worship team doing songs that pushed them in their abilities. Picking out some music and asking the question, like, can we do that? Now, two of my favorites that were like pushing the limits, one of them we did earlier, All My Fountains, that I affectionately referred to as the guitar song, as in, Sherri, when are we going to do the guitar song again? And the second would have been the old Easter hymn, Up from the Grave He Arose. Sherri had us do that like with attitude, and it's like, wow, can we do that? Can we be that kind of worship team? Sherri absorbed criticism for our style. Some of the criticism was kind and well-meaning. Some of the criticism was hurtful. So Sherri, thank you for taking chances, for striving to do what we hadn't done before, taking risks and bearing the pushbacks and complaints. What a lot of you don't know is that Sherri was probably even better when she took off her worship hat and put on her ministry coordinator hat. And so there came that period of time where she wanted to do just that. Sherri brought something to the ministry table that I was not capable of. Well, a lot of things, but one of them was just good taste. There were things that seemed fine to me that Sherri would fuss with. So like pre-COVID, so you heard this already, pre-COVID we would meet here at 8 o'clock in the sanctuary on Sunday mornings to pray, but most of the time we didn't get to pray until 8:15 because we were waiting for Sherri, because Sherri was fussing with the platform, again, with the cords and with the plants. Sherri's office, if you've ever been in her office, she had flowers, she had wall hangings. It was kind of a pretty place to be. Matt's office had, Matt's office had Batman. My office had piles, and that was all, just piles of things. And so Sherri asked permission, do you mind if I decorate your office some? And so she did. You need to be thanking Sherri that we have Christmas decorations at all. I love them, but I don't do them. Sherri, thanks for making everything nice. At the very beginning, when we were hiring Sherri and working through her job description, she said she would take on everything that Jeff did except one thing. She wouldn't take on the finances. She wouldn't take on the church budget. We said, fine. By the end, 14 years later, she had taken over most of the financial piece of the church. She's the one who works the most closely with Lori Baker, our treasurer. She's the convener of the finance team, which, among other things, actually puts together the church budget. She was the buyer. Anything that gets bought in this church goes through her. She became the finance person. So Sherri, thank you for allowing your position to evolve and for growing into tasks and responsibilities that you previously shrank from. So you've caught on that Sherri was great at working one-on-one with people. She did for others what she did for herself. She helped them grow. She mentored, she encouraged. She and I learned from the same person the principle of kanai, constant and never-ending improvement. And so while she was always bettering herself, she offered herself to others to help better themselves. And a lot of that took place behind closed doors of her office or well after hours or in her own home. So Sherri, thank you for putting so much of yourself into others. Sherri had an easy way of working with others, whether it was the stewards or the men's ministry or the children's ministry or the hospitality and greeter team. Sherri helped other teams and other leaders do their ministry well. Now, I know that sounds like that's right. That's what the core of a ministry coordinator job description would be, but there is an intangible element to that. It's not just being organized, and it's not just being a good task manager. It's the ability to keep others on task and to facilitate whatever they need to make their ministry fruitful, effective, and successful. To be the oomph behind the ugh. And to do that with laughter and joy and ease. So Sherri, thank you for being the oomph. Finally, Sherri, thank you for being a trustworthy and a trusted colleague. I go places where other pastors are and I hear horror stories of infighting among staff members and plotting against pastors. But we've enjoyed a mutuality of regard, and again, I say trust. It's important to be able to have conversations, to hash out problems, to talk about possibilities, not just to make plans, though a lot of our conversations were about plans, but to dream and to vision and to honestly evaluate what went wrong and to think through what could be done about it, to be able to express frustration. So thanks for being a trusted colleague. And Sherri, thank you for caring about this church. Sherri cares about what happens here. She cares about how well this church carries out its God-given mission and fulfills its God-given purpose. When you care about what happens, you invest yourself, heart, soul, mind, and strength. Sherri loves the bride of Christ, the church, and she serves her, the bride. She serves us with skillful hands and with integrity of heart. So, Sherri, thank you for loving this church like a shepherd. In a word, thank you for making us better. So, we spent a couple of months working through the admonitions of Romans 12, 9 through 21. And we suggested that all of the admonitions combined to just the end. This is how you overcome evil with good. Well, the appropriate phrase from that passage today, the one verse that we have been illustrating with all that we've done this morning, is verse 10. So, don't think Scripture wasn't in what we did today, because we were illustrating in all that we have done Romans 12:10. Love one another with mutual affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Or, as I like the translation, honor one another above yourselves. And that's what we have been doing today. So, Sherri, above ourselves, we honor you today. I'll say anything?
Or I'll say something. Wow. Had no idea. I'm not going to cry because this is a celebration. And I am celebrating the fact that I got to work here for 14 years. I am so excited that I got to work someplace for 14 years. It's the longest place I've worked, and I will tell anybody that it is the best place to be employed. And where else can you go and work and also play and be with your family and love each other and do the things that God wants of you, I am a blessed person, and I am blessed to know each one of you, and I always pray that I'm just so grateful that I get to come to this place every week to worship the Lord first, and to worship with you. And I love you all, and I really truly mean that. I don't mean that because you said some nice things. I mean, I truly do love each one of you, and I'm just a little bit of dumbstruck right now, just because I really don't know what to say, because I really didn't expect to hear words. They were such nice words, and I'm thinking over here when Tyler's saying Judgment Day, and I'm going, yeah, I know. And he was just being so nice, and I'm thinking, oh, no. So thank you for extending grace when I needed it. Thank you for mercy on the things that I did terribly wrong and horribly wrong, and you kept that to yourself a lot of time, and I thank you for that, extending mercy, and thank you for your love, and thank you. I came in, well, Thursday night we had worship team practice, and after worship team practice, I walked out of the door last time, walking out to the double doors, and I thought, oh, I'll just come in the sanctuary for a little bit, and it was nice, just take a deep breath, and I just found myself praying for our awesome staff and your leadership and the things that are going to happen next. I can't wait. I can't wait to see. And so there is somebody out there, that is going to be stepping up and doing more, whether it's volunteer work, serving in some way, serving each other, loving each other. That's the most important thing, is to just serve and love each other, good times and the bad. And so I'm excited to see what comes next and what God has for me next. So thank you so much.